The Sales Masters program at Cisco is a 3-day training session. We do it in person. That in itself makes it a little unique, the fact that we take people out of the field, our salespeople out of the field for 3 days. Each of the days is dedicated to one of the modules of Corporate Vision's 3 conversations. So the first day in the program, we talk about articulating Cisco value, and that's a lot tougher than it sounds. For Cisco people, it's a lot easier to talk about feeds and speeds and technical details, but here we teach them how to articulate Cisco value in a customer's language. So we're not talking about ourselves, we're talking about what we can do for the customer. The second day is focused on elevating the conversation. So in terms of elevating the conversation, we're talking about making it CXO ready, if you'd like. You bump into a CXO in an elevator, what do you tell them? You try to get into a meeting with the CXO, what's the pitch? In order to have CXO conversations, you've got to be very good at financial acumen, business acumen, because that's the language that they speak. So a big part of the second day is just on business acumen. You know, how do you speak that CXO language? Which metrics do you refer to? And then finally, the third day is about monetizing on all this. So it's about negotiation skills. How do we bring it all back so that we can make money at Cisco? The level of executive sponsorship that we have in this program is phenomenal and key to our success. Every single time we run a Sales Masters class, every class has about 20 participants, we have one executive in the class attending full-time for 3 days. It's funny when people ask me that question, how could just Cisco justify taking people out of the field for 3 days? I think it's funny because I think it's so important to do that. And it surprises me every time that I get the question. When you're trying to teach a salesperson about a new product or even a new technical skill, you can do that virtually rather successfully. You could just run a 30-minute recording and they'll listen to the recording and they'll retain maybe 20% of it and you'll be happy. But the objective of Sales Masters was very different. The strategic objective of Sales Masters was to transition our salespeople from box sellers to solution sellers. So we're talking here about a behavioral change. You can't teach a behavioral change in 30-minute modules online. It just doesn't happen. To teach someone a new behavior, you need to get them to practice. You need to get them to role play. You need to give them live feedback. The other objective that we had is to build community. Cisco, like a lot of big companies, is very siloed. It can just be very siloed. Our salespeople sell to different segments, and for whatever segment they're selling to, they're within that silo. What we did in Sales Masters is we pulled them all out of their silos and mashed them together in one classroom setting. So within the same classroom, you had 5 or 6 of these silos represented. And what that accomplished was, hey, you know, you're meeting people that you haven't interacted with before, that think differently, that approach the business problems differently. And the momentum that we gained from that was tremendous. Another thing that we did is in the way we partnered with CVI. That was definitely a best practice. We have a phenomenal relationship with CVI, and we requested that CVI assign a core group of instructors to attend to Cisco Sales Masters classes. So the core group of instructors got to know Cisco in a very detailed way and almost an intimate way, and they were able to impart so much more because of their knowledge of Sales Masters, of Cisco as a company and as a culture. What the result of this was that with Sales Masters became much more than just a training session. It actually became ingrained in Cisco culture.